The Boys is a super duper mega famous show by Amazon Prime about evil superheroes and what would happen if Batman v Superman was real.
Oh, come on then. Cunt.
It's most famous for its left-wing messages about capitalism, greed, corrupt corporations, and toxic mob-like internet culture. Phew, that was a pretty long sentence. And it's also a pretty decent show. I enjoy The Boys. I think it's very well paced and was definitely a show that was needed back when it first came out. It's also one of the best adaptations of a comic book series because the thing it's adapting is god awful and makes the show look like the Holy Bible when compared to it. But even though it's better than the source material, that doesn't mean it itself doesn't have any problems. This video will spoil Boys Season 1 and 3, so if you haven't watched, The Boys, or haven't caught up with it, I do recommend maybe skipping when I talk about the finale a little. I do talk about certain character arcs and stuff, but that's mild spoiler type stuff.
And I'll stand by our Mujahideen brothers until the end.
My main issue with The Boys is something that my friend likes to call Joker Syndrome.
Well, I'm the Joker, baby!
Joker Syndrome is when someone makes something and shows that it's bad, but doesn't exactly expand on why it's bad. They love to show the bad thing happening, but they never really do anything to explain why. This is a big problem with Season 3 of The Boys. I feel like it's the most Ennis the show has been. Thankfully it's speedrunning through the comics, but the show loves to poke fun at dark and edgy things, but it itself relies on the raunchiness at times. Due to the messy explanations to things, characters and messages also get muddy. The Deep is a character that we shouldn't really like as he's an awful person, just like the rest of the Seven, but the writers unintentionally made him the comedic relief. I find the Deep funny because he always fails, and that's how the writers want us to feel, but there's a massive side of the fanbase that unironically finds the character charming and think he has a redemption arc. This guy, whose introduction to us was him essaying someone.
I love the Deep. I hated him. Obviously, I think everyone, hates him at first.
Yeah.
But he just grows on you so much. Has a little redemption story. Yes, he's a kiss ass and a bit of a comedic relief for the show.
He's so stupid.
But it's the comedic relief that we all need.
Yeah.
That leads us to another problem. I feel like the show also leads to a lot of political confusion. It's a show about corruption and anti-capitalism, and parodies the Trump reign, but I feel like stuff such as the Homelander metaphor and Soldier Boy can go over some people's heads, and the people they parody end up actually loving that stuff and start talking about it in a toxic way online. It's kind of becoming the #1 show of 4chan because the haters are the fans, and the corny need to be raunchy kind of throws off a lot of people it's targeting. If you go on an app like TikTok, it's made by people like Andrew Tate and Jordan Belfort, and there's millions of Homelander and Deep fan and meme accounts. And sure, a lot of those accounts are ironic, but a ton of the comments those accounts get are not. And they're just using the show as an excuse to be racist and such, and always complain about it becoming political, not realizing that it was always political. I feel like the show is also a bit clunky when it comes to the writing. We've already talked about how they show things are bad by doing the exact things that are bad, but the show also tends to be a tad bit formulaic in the way information is given or the way character arcs go, and it can make scenes and moments that are meant to be unpredictable pretty predictable. Take Butcher for example. In the comics, Butcher is a dick. Everyone in the comics is a dick. They're unlikable and horny all the time, they're not exactly good people. The show also wants the audience to think Butcher is a dick, and sure, there's instances where it works, especially in Season 1, when we're not familiar with the character, but Karl Urban is a great and charismatic, majestic man, and he comes off as a likable douchebag for a majority of the show, which is a good thing, because he's one of the main characters, but whenever the show wants us to hate him, I just can't, because he always tends to be right, and all the characters will go, damn, Butcher was right. It makes the show very predictable. All you have to do is follow Butcher, and you'll eventually get to the conclusion of your problem. The only thing Butcher wasn't right about was being a dick to Ryan. It's not just Butcher who can have a pretty formulaic arc going throughout the show. I feel like Starlight has done the same thing for 2 seasons. I don't really care for her and Huey scenes that much anymore. I feel like they always end up arguing only for one of them to apologize. The supporting boys crew feel like generic cliche stereotypes. MM is a hard dude who doesn't get much to do. He has a full wardrobe of rap t-shirts and gets angry at Butcher, only to come back to him. Frenchie is just generic shady French guy who says a couple of corny phrases and also knows how to love. And Kimiko is cool. Great character. One of the better revamps of a character, which this show does a lot, which is why it's weird that the rest of the boys' crew are just still kind of stereotypical. The characters get carried by the amazing performances that their actors give. I feel like Jensen Ackles was a solid addition to the already great cast, and the Supes tend to all be very interesting, especially Homelander of course, but the boys' crew pale in comparison, in my opinion. Speaking of cliches and originality and stuff, I also have a few issues with the finale. Boys fans got triggered when I made this meme. They got their pitchforks out and started yelling at me, where I compared it to every Disney Plus show, and honestly, I stand by it.
The boys' season final was mid.
Just like a Disney Plus show, it had a badly cut but highly anticipated fight scene, characters getting underutilized, and then some dumb fanservice moment that was overhyped, and a dumb fake out ending. It's a 3 out of 5 finale, but my main problem with it is the fact that besides Ryan turning evil, nothing really changes. Wow, Annie joins the boys! My brother in Christ, she was working with them for a good few seasons now. She was practically already part of the team. Besides that, we left the season how we started it. The 7 need recruits, the Deep is nice guy, Homelander is Trump, Starlight is helping the boys, we gotta look for Soldier Boy, and Butcher was right. I mean, he might die, but let's be honest, Butcher isn't gonna die, and he'll probably also end up having like 2 scenes with Ryan, which will lead to Ryan joining the good guys.